what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
We'll try not to too much talk over each other, but again, we are girls and we are
agree to disagree.
Okay,
Moving on.
well, the makeup bottle. It's like a ripped out T-bird, some grease.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's got that black hair.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ChickChat. It's February, last day of February, but it is February.
We got the days in. We got our ChickChat in.
We did. It's even before lunchtime, so it is really legit.
That's right.
It's the morning of the 28th. Hello, Janette.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Yes.
I'm on a little bit of a coffee high today. I had a meeting this morning, came straight in, starting the show with you, and I've got 2 other shows to record today. And a lunch meeting.
You need your coffee.
I'm straight IV into coffee today, buddy. Might even have to tell me to slow down if I'm talking too fast.
Hey, I'm from up north. We talk fast. I can hang.
You can.
We've got it. Yes.
Good. I don't normally talk this fast, but we have a lot to talk about today too.
Yes.
I feel like it's been a big month.
It has been a big month.
Why? I don't know why, but I feel like it has. But we're going to get to a lot of different things. And then if you have anything to add, obviously. I've taken a few notes here and there. Yeah. We'll see if we cover enough stuff for you.
All right.
First, a very important announcement. 2 very important announcements, actually. First of all, let me do my housekeeping. You know, you're listening to ChickChat on The Mesh. I'm Mary-Margaret. That's Janette. And we hope that you are listening to lots of other shows on The Mesh. As I mentioned, I am recording several shows today. You can go check all of them out over at themesh.tv. And you can find us on social media, especially Instagram at themesh.tv or Facebook. All right. Next announcement is actually ChickChat worthy.
Okay.
Today, February 28th, 32 years ago today, do you know what happened?
I don't.
What year would that have been? 32 years ago. Somebody do college level math.
6 at the end.
Today is 2018.
Yes.
Is Chris in there? Somebody in there? Anybody know how to do math for 32 years ago?
70s?
Been in the 80s?
No, that's not right.
It'd been the 80s.
In the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 32 years ago today, Pretty in Pink was released.
Really? Oh, yeah, it's definitely 80s.
It's 80s. Yeah.
86?
Sure. Was 86 really 32 years ago? Anyway,
it was, because if I do it's the easiest way to do my age minus the birth year.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at that. Okay. I can't tell you how much I love Pretty in Pink. Like, it is one of my all-time favorites.
But as soon as you said it, the song started playing in my head.
Absolutely. Pretty in Pink.
And we've gotten our singing in right away.
And we've taken care of that. I also I have a Spotify playlist that I conveniently call Starred. Okay, and my Starred list is from all the albums and everything that I have on Spotify. Whenever I'm doing like a random shuffle of stuff, if there's that one song that I'm just like, yes, this is my jam.
Yeah.
I hit the star button and it sends it to its own private playlist, right? And that's my favorites list. It's my go-to on a rainy day. I can play this and I will sing every song. I know all the words.
What?
They're my jams. Okay. And Try a Little Tenderness is on there because of Ducky.
Yes.
What girl? Okay. I know
Ducky,
it's
quack,
Ducky.
quack.
I know it's Ducky. Okay. But what girl does not want to have that happen? Like a man come in and sing like that to you. Ugh. Love it.
We'd be BFFs forever, even if there was no romantic connections.
Absolutely.
You have to be friends with them.
And then the lady from Designing Women.
Yes.
She's in it, and she's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Like almost her best friend. Besides Ducky.
She is. Absolutely. Like her best friend / boss.
Right.
And Wanda, I believe is her name in the movie. Anyway, she, goes through all these different phases, which I thought were so cool. And I just love it. I just love that movie. And Andrew
McCarthy.
James
Spader?
James Spader, nasty James Spader in the movie.
I feel like he was always like the bad boy.
He's always
in the 80s
movies. Bad boys.
And even continuing to the 90s when he was older, some of the shows he was in.
Oh, absolutely. And he had like
now?
like a cocktail with like silk pajama pants on.
Yes, at the party.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just such an iconic movie. Still is. And I just love it.
That was where I first got my idea of that's what high school was going to be like.
Totally.
Yeah, not so much.
It wasn't, but
At least not where I grew up. It was nothing like that.
So you're saying Pretty in Pink did not emulate Ohio?
I was highly disappointed. Like, really? This is all there is?
It didn't in Newton, North Carolina either.
Right.
But
I was like, oh my gosh, high school's going to be so fun.
but a girl could dream.
It's going to have a soundtrack to it. I had no soundtrack.
Don't you think that prom was pretty iconic? Like that they have, I mean, every single person was dancing and every person was like...
Exactly what I thought high school prom was going to be like.
And it wasn't.
Nothing like that.
And they had like a band and it was in this big ballroom with fancy steps leading up to it. Mine was at the Moose Lodge.
Mine was on... I had the two that I went to. One was on the campus of the university, and the other one was at a hotel in like the next town over.
Oh, yeah. I had one prom. So I went to junior and senior prom, but I was the waiter waitress.
Okay.
In my sophomore prom, which was the year you could do that. And for sophomore prom, we were at the Clement Center, which is a local. Basically made to look like a barn, but it's actually now holds like a church in there.
Well, that
and
sounds
like
fun. No?
There's just a big room. It was just awkward. It was just a big room. Okay.
That's kind of how ours was.
That was my sophomore year. My junior year, I don't remember where that was.
Well,
my senior year was at the Moose Lodge.
So we really only have junior prom.
Really?
Really. So... And then senior year, you can go to the junior prom. You can't go to junior prom until you're a junior unless you're invited by an upperclassman.
Same with us. No, we couldn't even go if we were invited. We couldn't even be
No, we
invited.
could go if we were invited, if we were someone's date. And then senior year, it's not your prom, but you can go to junior prom.
I gotcha.
So...
That's weird.
My junior year, yes, it was on the campus of the university, but it was in one of the cafeterias, yeah.
Oh.
Sounds cooler than it really was.
Never mind.
And then... Yeah, my senior year, when the other juniors put on their prom, they had it the next town over in one of the ballrooms of a hotel, but it wasn't a big ballroom. It was more like a meeting room.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was fine.
Sure.
It wasn't my prom. I didn't care. I showed up late, left early, so it wasn't like...
True.
It was prom, but it was not the grand staircase with everyone dancing to 80s music.
No, like...
All the boys were dancing.
No.
Slow dancing, maybe.
Some. And even then, they were kind of lame dancing, right? It was just kind of like swaying. It wasn't dancing.
Around in a circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, 32 years today, Pretty in Pink. And now I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering at what age I can show my kids that movie. Because, it's not like it's racy or anything, except for all the bad, like, mean people smoke and had like drinks in their hand all the time.
I don't remember when I first saw it. I did not see it in a theater.
No, I didn't either. It would have been a very, but I think I was young enough though that
at least
I was
junior
dreaming
high.
About what it would be like.
Yeah,
later.
At least junior high.
Yeah,
because like I said, my idea of high school
was formed from this. Well,
I should have been grounded in reality.
Praise Molly Ringwald. It's officially Molly Ringwald Day. Thank you for Pretty in Pink and your involvement
John
with
Cryer,
the
and you can still see them on TV.
Yes, you can. And all of these guys pretty much
Andrew
have
McCarthy, where is he?
Yeah, he's done some things over the years.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's not gone in a hole or anything. So I think, I think that was a nice little stepping stone for all of them, huh? Who would have thought Ducky would have had such a famous time over our childhood? Everybody knows Ducky. Yeah. Everybody knows him. Anyway, way to go. Very excited about Pretty in Pink. Now on to another topic. Okay. A couple of episodes ago, I actually mentioned some places that I get my entertainment and discussions from and thoughts, and just like to hear people talk about entertainment stuff. You know, I mentioned some of those little web series and podcasts and things that were out there. And I have a few more that have become a latest update to my arsenal, if you will. These are pretty good, I think. These are all 3 podcasts. Okay. They're all, 2 of them are fairly new, but I'm hooked. Okay. This one is not new. This one is called Martinis and Murder. I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
I'm fascinated, but I don't know what it is.
Yes. Martinis, basically because they drink while they talk.
Love it. Okay.
Murder, because they take one case. Think Snapped. The TV show Snapped, right?
Yeah.
They take one case that's not, I mean, it may have been pretty high profile in that area or something, but it wasn't like they're not doing like David Koresh or something like that. Okay. They're doing like some female that got cheated on and snapped and went and did this, right? So they have a different case that they discuss, and they tell the details, and then they kind of just break it down about like, you know, well, so-and-so then left her such and such there so that she could come back, and they're like, that was stupid. You know, why would you do this? They can really, they pick it apart. Yeah. But they're drinking the whole time, which makes it even more loose a little bit. So it's very interesting to learn a story about a case that's happened. And sometimes they're solved, sometimes they're not. And what makes it even more interesting is that it's a male and a female host. And the female's host is Darren Karp.
Okay.
And she is the assistant to Andy on Bravo.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Handpicked assistant. She worked for some, you know, production company or something. Andy met her and basically plucked her.
Okay.
And she's been his assistant. She's actually in one of these commercials with him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in one of
the car commercial thing.
Yeah. Yes. But she's great. She's really funny to listen to. And yeah.
So before you get to your other ones, on that same topic.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Drunk History on the Comedy Channel?
Love it. Love it.
It is hilarious.
Yes.
Some of the people are funnier than others. Absolutely. But just to hear how these people are telling these stories and then they're acted out, like, I thoroughly enjoy it. I may or may not learn something.
Right. Because I can't always take it seriously. I don't know if it's legit.
I don't know if that part happened, but it's hilarious.
But it is. Yeah, I do love that. And they have a podcast version, I believe, which is not as fun.
You have to watch it, people,
but to still hear some of the stories is funny, the way they interpret it, if you will. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
So far, my 2 favorites, or actually I might have 3 favorites. The one where Tiffany Haddish is on there and Busy Phillips.
Busy Phillips. Now, I saw clips of hers.
That's the one that Tiffany Haddish narrates.
Okay, because I saw
it is hilarious.
I follow Busy on Instagram, and she is famous for her Instagram stories, the parts that scroll up at the top, you know, and you can watch like stories, and she does just stories all damn day long. She
is fantastic doing Tiffany Haddish's interpretation.
Her. She's super normal. She'll be talking, and in the middle of a sentence, she'll be like, "Oh my god, like, do you see this mark on my face? Like, how do I get this off?" And then she tries all these crazy like home remedy stuff, and she hosts a podcast called "We're Not Doctors." And they literally break down like medical diseases, but they claim all the time, like, we're not doctors, but we think you should do this.
Right. We think that it might be serious.
Yes. So anyway, I love Busy Phillips.
She's good. And then there's one with Mandy Moore acting it out. I forget who's narrating, but that is hilarious.
That is funny. I need to catch up on some because I've only seen like a handful over time. Well, I think it's funny.
And then Octavia Spencer does one, and who I don't know the person. I can see her face, but it's not like a well-known person who's narrating. Because I think he tries to get comedians in there to do it, so it's even funnier. But whoever Octavia Spencer's playing Harriet Tubman, and while this person's telling the story, she like messes up. So Octavia kind of looks at the camera like, "Get it together." And they have like these fake things that they're like burning people with. They're just like, I'm like, this is probably like so not true.
I know, and not really good to be supporting, but hey, it's funny.
Hilarious.
It's
like
comedy.
I sit there and watch like, oh, I hope it's another episode. This is hilarious.
That's awesome. Okay, I need to go look that up. No, it's great. definitely like a good resource for people to go check out. We're all about sharing on this show. We
If you
want
don't
people
want to
go
read
find
your
on this.
history, just get your history from Drunk History.
That's right.
Some of it's probably true.
A little bit. Okay. So I mentioned Martinis and Murder. It's a podcast. You can go check it out on iTunes. And it's actually like really high rated and followed and up for different awards, like podcast awards and stuff. So,
I'm in for that one. I like that. Sounds interesting.
yeah, it is. It's fun because they do talk about like, they get off topic and then they'll be like, wait.
You
like,
know my fascination with crime.
yes,
So.
yes.
Not crime itself, but like
No.
crime story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Note to self,
I'm not not into crime.
she's not admitting anything right now. She's just saying she likes to
I
talk about
like
stuff.
the mysteries, the things that I can solve that no one else can.
She likes Law and Order. That's
do,
what we're talking
yes,
about.
yes.
Dun dun. Yes. Okay, the next one is a fairly new podcast called Armchair Expert. Okay.
Okay.
And it's hosted by Dax Shepard,
Oh,
who I adore.
funny.
Right. I just adore him. Mm-hmm. So I follow Kristen Bell on Instagram, and I see that she posts that she was doing a podcast with her husband for Armchair Expert. And I was like, what is Armchair Expert? And I go and find out it's the very first episode is he interviews her. So Dax breaks it down to where he interviews a person and really just dives into like just their story. Who are they? What do they come from? What are they doing? And then really pulls out like the bad stuff about them, like not bad as in, like criminal or any of this type of stuff.
Right.
It's like he talks about anxieties a lot. He's a recovering alcoholic, like he has been for years. But he talks with people, that you may think, were the bad boy, or maybe you think they were the goody-goody, and you just learn all this different stuff. And a lot of it he brings up like, why? Why were you self-medicating because you thought you had anxiety? Like, where does this stem from? And they're long ones. They're probably like an hour to an hour and a half episodes, which, but it's a really in-depth interview, and they laugh and they tell fun stories. And
Is it all famous people?
It is.
Okay.
It is. So he first interviewed Kristen, and he had to do a little pre-recording at the beginning of it that said, you're about to hear this interview, and I'm going to be honest with you, Kristen and I were in a fight that day. Like, we're married and we were in a fight that day. So listening back, he's like, I realize I should have apologized a little sooner to her. He's like, because we were really snappy with each other throughout the whole episode. But it was funny. Like, it was true. I was listening to a married couple.
Who didn't want to be in the room with each other.
They were kind of short with each other. Yeah. But then he kind of, they talked about how complete opposite they were and all. But then you think Kristen Bell's got this sort of just like fairy tale little life of things, and you found out more about where she came from. And, they kind of said like her mom had a revolving door of men coming through and stuff. And she had major stage fright and all this different stuff. Anyway, it's just
like free therapy for these celebrities.
It totally is, because they're not having to just pretty much anything they've been through. I think Dax has been through as well, because he's had kind of a really bizarre life.
Okay.
So thus far I've listened to Kristen Bell, Joy. I can't remember her name, but her last name, but she is the one that played his wife on Parenthood.
Oh, Joy Bryant.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to her. Ashton Kutcher, which was fascinating because Ashton's now into all the like investments, and he's super smart, and he's, and Dax is like,
and Dax was one of the first people on Punk'd with him.
Exactly. So Dax does a little intro to that one as well, saying, I kind of got pretty big for my britches because of Punk'd. Like, everybody started being like, oh, Dax this, Dax that. He's like, and then I got a little bitter about it because I was typecast as the Punk'd guy. And so he said, I feel like for a while there, I kind of distanced myself from Ashton. And then so they actually talk about it later on. And, and it's just weird, they both went through a kind of you were typecast as stuff. I mean, Ashton was like, dude, where's my car?
And
then Kelso on that 70s show and everything else. So anyway, it's fascinating. And then the one that I'm listening to right now, and I haven't finished it yet, but I listen to it in the mornings. And unfortunately, I don't have that long of a commute because then I can listen to more. But I get bits and pieces of it here and there. Is Pete Wentz, singer from Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you look at him, he fits a stereotype of like the rocker band guy or whatever. But I mean, his parents, his dad's a corporate lawyer and his mom is a like admissions counselor for a university. And they both have a political background, and where they met each other was when they were following the campaign trail of Joe Biden on his senatorial run. So back in the day. And then, so I mean, they're like the super liberal parents. They never let him watch TV growing up. So he like missed all of this youth television growing up. And, but he was like super into soccer. And then he, you know, played in a band, and they moved out to the Oakwoods. I'm not sure if you know the Oakwoods. There's a fascinating per Dak Shepard. I watched it. The Oakwoods is an apartment complex in Hollywood that caters to child actors.
Okay.
And it's, you know, people that are coming out for like the open season where they're trying to get all these pilot season. That's it.
Yeah.
And get all these shows and stuff. But it's like known to be where the child actors are put in there, and they're like the super hardcore moms of child actors.
Okay.
And they have, so anyway, like Pete Wentz and his band are put in the Oakwoods, and he's telling like stories about how basically there never have been a party band. They were like a bunch of guys that sat around wanting to play video games, and they played for pizza and Sprite and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyway, it's just really bizarre to listen to. So,
did you know that he was biracial?
Yes.
Did they talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
His mom is Afro-Jamaican.
Yes. I was going to say, I think she's from like Jamaica.
Yeah. Afro-Jamaican.
And you wouldn't know it really from looking at it. But then when you find out, you can kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they talk about that because, again, they're coming from he lived in a very prominent community because his parents were, you know, not hurting for money and lifestyle and stuff. They had a very wholesome, if you will, you know, upbringing and stuff. And so they talk about like, was race ever an issue and this and that, you know? And he was like, well, it's not like people were burning crosses in my yard. He's like, because, you know,
in California.
But, but it was, you know, for a while, he's like, I didn't realize, because again, he didn't watch TV. You know, he's like, I didn't realize like the situation, I guess. But anyway, it's just fascinating. So I look forward to like Armchair Expert every morning when I get in my car.
Write that one down too.
Yeah. If people fascinate the hell out of me. So if I can hear an interview about somebody else and feel like I learned something, win-win.
Yeah.
You know, I will listen to other people talk about themselves all day long.
It makes them seem a little more human too if they're all celebrities.
Absolutely.
You don't think they live these, they had the perfect life. And
yeah. Or the people, you know, sometimes like behind the music, you know, you're hearing, that was funny. Behind the music, Pete Wentz actually talks about that this generation, which I'm like his age, we were the first generation to grow up with Behind the Music, the show on VH1. He's like, so here I am in a band. He's like, and the first thing all of us think is, we don't want to end up on that show. Because if you're on that show, that means something bad happened.
You've probably broken up.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you had people die.
Or people died of drug abuse. Yeah.
Exactly. He's like, so we all just sort of wanted to play music. We didn't party. We didn't all this stuff. And, you know, and then you've got, he's like, I'm kind of crossing that pop and hard rock line. You know, where do I fall with Fall Out Boy? It's just so much fun.
Have you got to the part where he talks about his marriage to...
No.
Okay.
And I'm waiting.
Ashley
Simpson.
Yeah.
They have a child together,
they
right?
They do. Bronx.
Yes. So I'm waiting for that because most people have been very open on the show. Like Kristen Bell talks about past boyfriends. Dax talks about his past girlfriend who he dated for 9 years. So it was very known throughout a lot of his life. Hits who he dated all through Punk'd, all this stuff. Ashton talks about Demi. You know, I mean, it was...
Okay.
Yeah, there has been discussion, so I'm hoping Pete spills the beans. Yeah. So anyway, Armchair Expert.
Got it.
And then last but not least, I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I listened to this one, but it's actually fascinating as well. And it's a new podcast out called Make Spidey Famous Again.
What?
Yeah, it is. It's
What is
Spencer and
this?
Heidi.
No, don't do it. I don't even want you listening to it because I feel like you're encouraging
Too
this
late.
mess. You're just endorsing the mess that is Spidey.
Can I tell you how funny it is to hear them now? As a recap, so Spencer and Heidi Pratt, who made their names famous by being almost the villains, if you will, on The Hills.
Yes.
Via Laguna Beach, right?
Yes.
Laguna
Beach
came
moved to the
first.
Hills. Yes.
Then they moved to the Hills. Heidi became a player. Spencer was friends with Brody Jenner, and then they met, and then they end up dating in a very, what seemed like horrible relationship idea.
It seemed messy.
Yes. They then get married, cause a big old stink with the families, the friends, everything.
She has like 10 plastic surgeries in one day or something.
Yes. It's ridiculous. And then the show finishes, and these two are riding the entertainment high, Well, then it becomes so obnoxious that E! News made a standard that they made an announcement they would never speak of Spidey again. Okay. And so it was kind of this like big smack in the face. Well, it's been like 10 years now. Okay. And they live just out in kind of normal people LA part,
Really?
Well, listen. Spencer sells crystals.
Yeah, I saw that on their little, I forget what I was watching, and I don't know why. That someone else must have been on it besides the two of them.
Yeah. He sells crystals, and he, makes the necklaces himself. So he'll tell you, guys, it's going to take a little while because I have to make it myself. He talks about,
Is it lucrative?
They have a baby now.
Yeah.
Okay. Gunner, I think is his name. And they have no money for a nanny. So, the baby is in the room
Welcome
with them.
to the real world.
I know, but I'm saying this is a totally different them.
Yeah.
This is not what they were going for before. Before they were
But you
living the high
are
life.
trying to get them to that lifestyle that they want. I'm not listening.
think-
I'm not listening to this.
I
It's off my
understand.
list.
I understand. I see a little bit of pleasure. I receive a little bit of pleasure at hearing them talk about their failures. That makes sense.
Well, now you just sound cruel.
I know. That sounded worse when I said it out loud. But, so the baby is in the podcast room with them.
Okay.
The whole time. Because Heidi, who talks in...
Oh, wait. They're doing the show themselves.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else who was like, let's do this campaign. But it's actually them.
Oh, it's them.
I don't want to listen.
Okay. So they're in the room.
I'm still out.
The baby's over there. Every once in a while, the baby makes noise, and they're like, oh, hold on. And they get the baby and stuff, right? And
This is a very bad phone call.
yes. So Heidi told this story about how she's not been invited to any Mommy and Me groups, and that she's super depressed and stuff. And apparently out there, you've got to be in a Mommy and Me group. The right
Were
one.
you invited to any?
Yes. It's different life out there, Jeanette. This is not normal for us, but it's normal
stayed
for
away.
people out there. Well, after this podcast starts up, on the third episode, she was like, guys, I got invited to a Mommy and Me group, and so now she's...
They heard her begging on her podcast.
Yeah, basically. So they have not had, Spencer travels trying to do, jobs, entertainment jobs where he gets called for something. I think he hosted TRL one day, right?
All right.
And, little things like that. But Heidi, will not leave the house with the baby. She's super attached to the baby. The baby has not left her side, all this stuff, but yet she hasn't slept in 4 months.
So she can't leave the house.
It's really,
she'll pass out.
It's really funny to hear. She cries a lot because she's so exhausted from this baby, but then it's just funny.
Okay.
Because now it's you're seeing them just knocked down. And
I'll get the
Spencer
clip
will
notes from
say
you.
it. Yes, Spencer will say it too. He'll be like, well, that would have been cool 10 years ago whenever people liked us and I could afford it. He's like, now I'm selling crystals if anyone would like any.
Do they realize it's their fault that nobody likes them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so they kind of went into a hole for a few years, and now they're kind of coming back out, and Oh, it's entertaining.
I wish them the best.
Right.
I'll leave the podcast to you.
Yeah.
Get the cliff notes and we'll all be happy with their lives.
It's pretty funny. They bring a guest on every once in a while, and they had Kristen Cavallari on the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
So she's friends with them?
Acquaintances in the sense, you know, I mean, because they kind of were talking, they were like, okay, so they made all of us out to be very villainous on these shows.
Is it all because none of them like Lauren?
And they're like, you know, this was all like an act, right?
Oh.
Like, they're like, you know, this was fake. I mean, the very last episode of The Hills has Kristen getting out of a limousine and walking onto set.
Yeah.
And like high-fiving everybody.
Yeah.
So, you know,
So is the Lauren feud not real? Or is that's for real?
I think it's kind of real, Elsie.
Yeah.
So, you know, Kristen has like 3 kids.
Yeah, she's got a ton.
She's married to Jay Cutler, who's about to be done with his football career. Because let's be honest,
it's time.
It's time. They live in Nashville. She opens up a jewelry store or something, and she has a cookbook now. So it's crazy. Kristen's like a normal
She eats
human
like
being.
She's like a vegan, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Not with kids. I don't think she is. I don't know.
She's super skinny.
Yeah, she is. That she is. But there, anyway, Make Spidey Famous Again is the name of the show.
You do that.
It's pretty funny. Again, just to hear them say, please make us famous. They're trying. There's something to that. So those are my recommendations for the day here on ChickChat.
Okay.
Martinis and Murder.
In.
Yes.
I'm in.
Armchair Expert.
I'll listen.
Make Spidey Famous Again.
I am out.
All right. Fair
But
enough.
it sounds fabulous.
Yes. On to some sad news.
Oh, no.
You asked for it.
I did?
Yeah. I don't really care because I'm tired of it. But you asked to discuss the Jennifer and Justin breakup.
I mean, I brought it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're talking Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux.
And it may be
Right?
because, yes.
Theroux? Is that how you say it?
Thoreau.
Not Trudeau.
Not Trudeau. No, it's Thoreau, I do believe.
Okay. We are not discussing
I still think
the
I'm hanging on a little bit. I mean, I'm really sad because I was glad that she found her happy place and found someone who really loves her. But then a little part of me was like, little Jen and Brad action again?
Right.
Maybe?
I mean, there's part of me that's kind of like, dude, get it together. Like, why is this taken? I mean, I feel like I don't want to say it's her fault, but maybe it's her fault.
What?
Everything.
Yeah. So my only issue is when we found out about the Justin Theroux divorce, she kind of did the same exact thing with him that she did when we all found out that she and Brad were separating / divorcing.
Yeah.
And that is, let's take a trip. Let's break up before this, but let's take a trip to Mexico.
Yes. Okay.
Why is that necessary? I mean, do what you want to do. I'm just saying.
I mean, you're Jennifer Aniston. That's fine. I do have a really hard time separating Jennifer Aniston and Rachel. Rachel in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
Like from Friends. I have a hard time separating them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my God, she's so funny and like
She may
cool.
not be.
And I don't think Jennifer Aniston is. I think she straight up plays a character and that's it. That's just my opinion. So let me just give a tiny bit of background for those of you who might have been under a rock. But just Jared reports that Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux have announced that they have split after 2.5 years of marriage. Okay, here's what gets me. The 49-year-old actress and the 46-year-old actor started dating in 2011. They got engaged in August of 2012. Then they married 3 years later in August of 2015. Okay. That's a really long stretch for people, I feel like, to have gone through to only have 2 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Does it make sense what I'm saying? Like, it just seems weird that you kind of didn't pick up on any of this prior to in all those years of hanging out.
Well, but part of me wonders, I mean, and again, this is all just probably in my head. I don't know these people, obviously.
You don't have a direct tie to them?
I mean, I would love to, but don't at this point.
Noted.
Part of me wonders if Brad Pitt and Angelina were still married, would Justin and Jennifer Aniston still be married? Or did she see it as... Because from what I've read, it's always seemed like Brad was always somehow still in the picture.
So we're saying that 2018 could be the year of everyone being divorced at the same time?
The matching blonde highlights again with Jennifer and Brad.
Gosh. Do you remember when he was a guest on Friends?
I do. I actually saw that episode, I think, last week.
Really? And he was, he didn't
that was
like
hilarious.
Rachel.
It was hilarious.
It's brilliant. It's super funny. Because you're seeing him in a light that is not normal. You don't picture Brad Pitt playing anything but like the amazing hunk.
Just
right?
stand there and be pretty.
Yes. And in this one, he's like the mad loser from high school who's
now hot.
Yes. I think it's a great episode.
And I'm not rooting for anybody's marriage demise at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, I wish they would have been able to stick it out. And that she could have been like, you know what? Sorry that happened with you, Brad. But, I'm in love. I'm in a good space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's another part of me who has always been Team Jen, who's kind of like, let's stick it to Angelina a little bit.
To Angelina. But now
I feel bad for Justin. So it's like.
Bad for Justin. I feel bad for Brad. And I feel bad for Justin's wife, who I think when he started dating Jennifer Aniston, I don't know if he was engaged or married, but I feel like Jennifer Aniston was maybe an Angelina.
Yeah. Because, they were in that movie Wanderlust together. Wanderlust, whatever it's called.
Yes.
And I think
the
that's
only
where
thing he's in, right? I mean,
no, he has that show on HBO that's supposed to be really good.
I don't have HBO. Doesn't matter.
I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be good. I haven't seen it, but
really?
it gets like rave reviews.
Interesting.
The Forgotten or something. I don't know what it is, but
but it sounds amazing.
I forgot about it already. But it's one of those shows where you're always like, "Ooh, I gotta watch that," but then you forget that it's on, and you're like, "Eh."
I bet it's good. Somebody said it was.
Somebody
good.
said it's good.
Somebody's paying for television and watching it.
Yeah.
Well.
Good. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out.
Jennifer's going to be one of those people that, she's going to be at every award show because everybody loves her. She's never going to age past 50, and she's going to show up, and maybe she'll have like a boyfriend here or there, but I don't know that she'll ever get married again.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 49.
Which cracks me up because people are so like, "Oh, is Jennifer Aniston pregnant? Like, when are we going to let this go?"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed.
At what point do you let the poor girl live and just be like,
just drop
like,
it?
I am not pregnant.
Yeah,
she should just forever wear a shirt. This is not going to happen.
Not.
I mean, it could. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
She could adopt.
I'm not a doctor.
Yes. Not a doctor podcast, but she could adopt. Or
she could.
Else. I mean, that's totally fine. But
and if her and Brad get back together, he's got 15 kids.
There's plenty to share.
Right.
Well, let's all cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Yes.
For whatever
Good
Jennifer
luck
wants.
to you. And, we almost forgot about John Mayer because they dated. Remember that?
No, that was a weird
I'm a big
time.
John Mayer fan, too.
That was a weird time, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
I didn't fully support that union.
Yeah, that was one of those.
I love both of them individually.
I mean, that made more sense to me than John Mayer and Taylor Swift, but...
Agreed.
But to each their own.
I mean, John Mayer's kind of gone through the list. Let's just be honest.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen him on Andy's Watch What Happens Live, Andy on Bravo.
Yeah. John Mayer was on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, apparently him and Andy Cohen are really good friends.
Bros.
Actually, Andy went on his... John Mayer took a group of friends. I think there were maybe a group of 5-6 guys who all went to Brazil together for his 40th birthday. And Andy was part of that group. And I forget who they were on with, but he's part of that group too. Oh, and it was someone odd.
I think that's like the weirdest combination I've heard in a long time.
Right, but John Mayer discusses the whole, a lot of people think I'm like this. Yeah, he's like, and I've dated for sure, but...
He just happens to date famous people.
I mean, that's his life.
Right. So, I mean, everybody's got a camera on you.
But we haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he's dating someone non-famous.
True. Because nobody cares then.
It's going to bother me until I figure out who was on that show with them.
Well, you actually just did a great segue and didn't realize it.
Yay.
So speaking of Andy Cohen.
Yes.
Which, we've oddly talked about Andy already twice today now. Funny. But did you hear about the Real Housewives getting stuck on the boat?
The New York cast?
New York cast. This just happened like last week.
I think I skimmed the article on because I didn't really care.
Okay. I just want to discuss very quickly the wrath of hell that someone at Bravo is being put through right now. Because let me just state some article here. Okay, this is from page 6. Okay. So we are told there was high drama on the rough seas. The Real Housewives of New York City pleasure cruise ended with a cast awash in vomit and fearing for their lives as their boat caught fire and started sinking.
What? Oh, I didn't realize it was that serious.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure if one of the housewives didn't write this article, but anyway, it says, seagoing sources tell page 6 that the ladies of the Bravo reality show were preparing for a day of sunning themselves on a luxury yacht during a visit to Cartagena, Colombia. But things sank quickly into chaos after they realized they'd been booked onto an old, decrepit vessel. Once they were ushered on board, the boat couldn't even move. The anchor got stuck, so the crew had to saw the anchor off before they could sail anywhere.
What?
Quote, when they got out to sea, the engine caught fire, and it was a huge blaze, and the crew was fighting to put it out. They didn't have a fire extinguisher, nor did they speak English.
What? Okay, first of all, why are you agreeing to get onto this group?
I don't understand why Bravo handled this.
Right.
Okay, so it says, adding to their watery woes, we're told the sea was so rough that the seats and other things on board that weren't nailed down were flying about. The boat was taking on water, and there were only 2 or 3 life jackets for everyone on board. The cast, we're told, mustered a characteristic Real Housewife response. Quote, they all thought they were going to die, and they were hysterical. Bethany Frankel, Ramona Singer, and Dorinda Medley were soaked and screaming hysterically. Carol and Tinsley were literally throwing up from seasickness. They were far out to sea, and they thought they were going down like the Titanic. End quote. They were eventually rescued by a passing boat, but they were told the housewives were all of them were so traumatized by the experience that Bravo has offered them counseling. A Bravo rep says, quote, the Real Housewives of New York City cast was recently on a boat in South America and encountered turbulent water. Thankfully, everyone is fine and will continue their vacation as planned. The safety of our cast and crew is paramount, and to that end, we are doing a full investigation. Okay, so I saw this. I saw the information about it. I did a little more research, and there's one picture that's been posted from the event, essentially. Okay. Ramona, who I feel most dramatic of all.
It's a toss-up between her and Bethany.
True. Is in a wheelchair. Okay. These other women are sitting on the floor. One's in a chair. They're all disheveled. They all look like it's grainy. It's like the worst photo ever of everybody. You know, they would be mortified, I'm sure, that it was being taken. But, I mean, I'm thinking, first of all, I can't wait to see it.
I was going to say, are they going to show this on the show? Or
I would imagine.
If you're this traumatized, I would be like, y'all can't show this.
Yeah, I'd be like,
we were fighting for our lives. This is not entertainment. Yeah.
But were they fighting for the life?
If it's shown on TV, I'm less sympathetic.
Agreed.
Unless it comes with some disclaimer like the events you're about to watch could be
damaging to.
But if you're filming like the near end of my life potentially,
throw the camera down and help me.
Right. Because what are you doing? Why weren't you the boat that was rescuing me? You obviously weren't on the boat with us.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering is we've seen them go on cruises and lots of different things like this. Isn't this really where it was like? Isn't there always a boat following them with the crew?
I mean, well, there's obviously someone on the boat filming.
Yes.
But you would think there'd have to be others on another boat with equipment.
Yeah. And they're back there like, no, guys, this is good footage. Just keep going.
And if you're on
you when we need to.
We'll send a boat.
When we need to.
But if there's someone else on the boat who's filming, why wasn't there any mention of the crew member who was filming was doing what at the time? Still filming? Look, a fire. Ooh, look, vomit. It's like,
I hope so.
Let me get some snapshots. This is ratings gold.
I really hope they did.
And if there wasn't another boat following with equipment, I don't know.
I mean,
so you have one guy and a boom guy.
I'm just thinking about the day that Bethany and Dorinda and, thankfully the Countess wasn't on there or whatever, but like the Countess. But when, what's her name? When
Luann.
Ramona.
Oh.
Okay, when Ramona and Bethany come back to the Bravo studios and see Andy in the hallway, like, I bet there was the fifth circle of hell out there. Like, it was like, I would not want to be around. Because Andy's in charge of all that stuff. I mean, that's all Andy.
If someone saws the anchor off of a boat, I'm off.
I mean,
because where are you going to dock? Where are you docking at this point?
Did they not have to go through the mandatory survival?
Do you not count the lifeboat, the life jackets?
They didn't on the Titanic.
Okay, in the 1930s, but didn't we all learn a lesson from that?
That's what I was about to say. Like, you should have learned that lesson. So, I mean, when we get on boats, they always make sure that everyone has to have that life vest before we even leave.
Yeah.
Right? Not that I'm sailing on luxury yachts or anything, but that
But this doesn't sound like a luxury yacht.
just seems like, it seems like legit.
If I see you sawing the anchor,
I'm out.
I'm going to be like, you know what?
I'm good.
Are we just going to free float on the ocean for a while?
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm good. So anyway, I want everyone to kind of like stay tuned for that because that could be coming.
I feel bad if it was like,
But they're
really
all fine.
serious.
They're all fine. Everything's okay. I just am curious how, I mean, if a real housewife made these quotes, I want to know what it really looked like.
right.
So it seems like they're an extreme lifestyle. Just saying.
The boat was engulfed in flames.
Yes.
It was a small engine fire.
Yeah, there was a little smoke coming
There's a
out the back or
spark.
something, right? We're gonna die.
We just saw the anchor off. Well, we just kind of
They're like, everything was flying around. I'm like, was it? I don't know.
Didn't they look at the weather report that day?
Yeah, I know, right? They said they were about to sun
Who are you
themselves.
sailing with?
They said they were about to spend the day sunning themselves. Like,
On the rough seas.
on the turbulent water? What are you doing? Gosh.
Next
Take
time,
me
sit
to port and let me go shop for a
next time,
little bit.
sit on by the pool.
I don't get it. Go to
All
a
right.
resort.
I hope they aren't hurt. I don't mean to laugh at their pain.
I hope they're all.
But if I see it on TV, I'm less sympathetic.
then I understand that they all signed off on it.
Right.
So,
and if I see a far away shot of this all happening from a Bravo boat,
I will.
no.
I will continue watching.
I'm
That's
calling-
what's going to happen.
yeah, I'm going to continue watching and be like, this is all so fake.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Alan,
I'm Chris.
and we're the co-hosts of Foot Candle Films, a movie review and film discussion show here on the Mesh.tv.
Each episode, we talk about some new movies, cover some film news, and have some recommendations.
And trust us, we're just as likely to talk about the latest Jim Jarmusch film as we are the newest Transformers installment.
Hold on, don't get too crazy.
Well, okay, maybe not that bad. But you can find our show and all our episodes on themesh.tv. Plus, you can subscribe to get new episodes delivered right to your computer or mobile device.
We'll see you in the ticket line.
On to the moment I've been waiting for.
Okay.
So, did you watch Celebrity Big Brother?
Yes.
I know. Spoiler alert to anyone that is listening. If you do not want to hear about this, then go ahead and turn us off. Go ahead. But I've got some good stuff to say. So, about cursed right there. I just about said some stuff because I'm that passionate about this.
Okay.
Celebrity Big Brother, first one for the U.S. They've had Celebrity Big Brother in like the UK for a long time.
Yeah.
Spencer and Heidi were on it actually. But yeah, this one, first time here.
Okay.
The cast,
It's all right.
they're fine. I knew it was going to be people like that. It was going to be the sort of celebrities cast, right? Like we knew that there wasn't going to be like Jennifer Aniston on there.
Which I would watch.
Absolutely.
completely.
I mean, she does have some free time now, but
And they're only in there 3 weeks. I do like a show every day.
yes. Okay. So it's very minimal. Okay. Time in there, but the cast consisted of Chuck Liddell, MMA
fighter.
Is it MMA? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keisha Knight Pulliam.
Rudy.
Yes. From the Huxtables. Ariadna Gutierrez.
Yeah, she was the one who Steve Harvey accidentally announced as Miss Universe.
For about 3 minutes.
They're like, oh, just kidding.
My bad, giving back the crown. Marissa Jarrett Winokur.
From Hairspray.
Hairspray
Broadway.
on Broadway.
Yeah.
Right?
I think she played in the movie. Did she do the movie?
No, that was Ricky Lake.
No, there was a second movie.
Yes, and
It wasn't her. It wasn't her.
It was like that child one. Like, I mean, a child, but she was
the
the
one
new,
with Zac Efron.
Yes. Meta World Peace.
NBA player.
Yep. James Maslow.
Yeah, Big Time Rush, which I was laughing because my daughter walked in the room. She's like, is that the guy from Big Time Rush? And I was like, it is, Ava.
Absolutely.
It completely is.
Mark McGrath.
Oh, yeah. What was this? Sugar Ray.
Yeah, singer. Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah, from American Pie.
Ross Matthews.
Love him.
He's the E correspondent.
Yeah, used to be on Jay Leno.
He was the intern.
Yeah.
There.
He used to sit on the street, and that's where everybody fell in love with him.
Hilarious.
He used to giggle all the time. Like,
Yes. Still does.
I love him.
Brandy Glanville.
Yeah. Another housewife.
She's a housewife from Orange County?
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
But was married to that guy that Leanne Rimes is now married, Eddie Cibrian.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
know that.
Her and Leanne are always like battling.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that. And Omarosa.
Does she need an explanation? White House, Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes.
She's just the Omarosa.
Omarosa.
Not the Oprah.
Nope.
Nothing near the Oprah, just the Omarosa.
All right. So to breeze through this and to give a little bit of clarity on what happened here. As we said, 3 weeks in the house. It's a very condensed version. They're doing something every day. They do not have an outside area. They have a back deck almost, if you will, like a porch, but it's still covered. They have no sunlight.
Oh.
Do you know that?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they have no sunlight. And I watched several of the exit interviews that people were like, I really need some sunlight. Like, I just need something like that. Like, they talked about how boring it can be.
Yeah.
And granted, they're all celebrities. A lot of them were actually grateful for the boredom because they were like, wow, it's downtime. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to look at my phone. I didn't have to answer any emails, whatever.
Yeah.
But they all missed sunlight. And I'm like,
I get that.
I didn't realize that. And see, I liked watching it because I feel like the extended Big Brother, normal seasons, sometimes there's just a little too much that we're watching.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish it was a little more condensed. Like, I don't need the episodes really. I just love a live episode. I love a live episode because I feel like there's a little more like, ooh, what's about to happen?
Let's get to it, yeah.
Some of the other stuff is so edited down, and a lot of just watching them sit outside by the pool or lift weights or whatever, that I'm like, okay, we get it. You're talking game again, and now it's going to change tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
So I liked the condensed because I felt like there was something going on all the time. So going into it, when it first started and came on, they got a full house. Who were you pulling for?
Ross.
Okay. Me too.
Who's not pulling for Ross?
I know. Did you pull for Ross the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have anybody that you surprisingly were like, well, I'd be cool with them too because I like them?
Marissa.
Okay.
Oh, I started to like Adriana at the end.
Ariane.
Whatever her name is.
Ari. They call her Ari.
Okay.
So Ariadna.
Ariadna. Okay, I was putting the D in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't mind her.
Okay. And then
James just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't mind Mark McGrath either.
I didn't mind Mark either. I was surprised
I was fine with him. I was fine with the final four.
Yeah. So I started out really liking Ross. Like, that was just obvious. And I followed that all the way through. I would have been completely happy with Ross all the way through. Completely annoyed by Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
The girl lost a competition, got put on the block, and then bawls her eyes out and claims because she's such a super fan that she will never be able to watch Big Brother again because it's tainted for her. And I'm like, you crybaby. Like, I had other choice words for her, but I'm like, shut up. Like, don't be a brat like that. That's what you were doing, is being a brat. Marissa I was fine with, but I felt like she was floating.
Oh, she completely floated.
The whole time.
She just stood behind Ross and was like, let's go.
Good. Yeah. Oh, sweet little handsome spandex wearing James Maslow. I wasn't a huge fan of him, He's obviously
He seems a little too arrogant for me.
agreed. He was a little arrogant, but I mean, he did try to play the game, I guess. But I did think he was just very.
He did play the game, but, and I know we'll get there, but considering how he played the game, I completely don't understand his vote.
Agreed.
At the end, it was ridiculous.
I'll tell you why. Okay. Next, Brandy Glanville.
She was Brandy.
She was straight up Brandy. She's what everybody expected her to be. I think she plays into that character sometimes too. I think I respect somebody that's upfront and honest like that. That's fine. But sometimes I feel like you have to think a little bit before you say these upfront, honest things and time it better. I think she could have timed her outbursts.
Oh, yeah.
A little better, because there could have been some that could have really have rocked the house had she done it at the better time. Other times she just got mad at James and she'd be like, well, you said this and da-da-da, and then it just is dumb.
Right.
Nobody believes you at that time. She even admitted that later. She was like, I need to think a little bit more before I say stuff. I was super annoyed that Keisha and Meta both got to go home on like crucial weeks. I understand that they wanted to or needed to, but I kind of want to be like, why are you here then?
Right. That's what I think Keisha more so than Meta, because I'm like, you knew you had a child that you weren't going to be able to breastfeed for 3 weeks,
right? Like,
when you signed
what
up.
Were you thinking?
What did you think was going to happen to your milk?
Yeah, and to just, I don't know.
I don't even understand why Meta went home. But
Meta's all like, I miss my wife. Well, do you think nobody
for
else
3
does?
weeks?
Yeah, like, dude. Take a breather.
If you can bring home $250,000, she'll forgive you.
I think so. And it's his fiance. And he's got multiple children by multiple women. Because when he was evicted, he said, you know, his son is getting ready to go play basketball overseas. And then his next son's getting ready to start college or his senior year in high school, something like that. And then he's got 2 daughters and he named them. And he was like, I just miss all my kids. And I miss all their mamas. And I miss my fiance.
Again, why come in the house then?
Don't get it. Like, you knew what you were getting.
You knew
like,
that you thought this was happening.
Yeah, right.
Keisha, but yeah, I think Keisha annoyed me more than anything.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like Meta was a big old pansy in the house the whole time.
I think he just got bored and wanted to go home.
Yeah. And he, you know, he's known for, like, fighting with fans in the stands at his game.
Yeah.
And so I'm picturing this guy being pretty tough and aggressive out there, but he gets in there and he's like, I miss my wife.
He came off pretty aloof, too.
Oh,
like,
absolutely dumb.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. But, yeah.
No, he was dumb.
Even towards at the end when Julie was like, do you understand what we're doing?
Yeah. His was dumb, too. He was like, I don't care who I'm voting for. So he just stuck his hand in and put a key in there. Okay, so then, Omarosa.
Omarosa.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna be honest here for a second. Can we be real on ChickChat?
Of course.
Don't mind her as much as I thought I was going
What? I hated her even more.
to. Really?
Hate's a strong word. Disliked.
Really?
Could not stand her.
Why?
I just have a hard time. And it's not just since the White House. It has been since Celebrity Apprentice, since Omarosa's been on TV.
Sure.
I just don't feel she's a genuine person. She does not come across as someone who is genuine. I always feel like she's playing a role.
Sure.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
even like just some of her facial expressions and the way she walks. And, I mean, nobody walks like that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
The way
Or
you
when
dress and
she
the thing you
pronounces
say.
things like.
You're from Youngstown, Ohio. I know people from Youngstown, Ohio. But they don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Like
I just thought I was going to be mad at her, or like
I was completely mad at her.
I wasn't. I was actually surprised at, I mean, I just didn't know much about her.
Maybe it was because she was gunning for Ross and I just didn't appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I think maybe some other people should have been gunning for Ross. I mean, they all were just like, oh, he's so great.
But Ross was able to hide behind James because James was such a presence in the house.
That's exactly right.
That Ross was his equal presence.
Yeah.
He was just quieter about it.
Yeah.
But he was making the same exact moves.
Yeah. It's, Ross was clearly playing the game strategically in the way he should be. Mm-hmm. He's obviously a super fan. He knows what's going on. He knew what was coming. Marissa admitted in the final Well, in the final two, in one of her speeches, she admitted that she followed everything Ross said and did. Admitted it. Mm-hmm. And that she was there because of him. I think she would have been... I think that's the reason she won, is because people were like, oh, wow, she took Ross even knowing that Ross might beat her. So they're saying, oh, she's doing...
And that's why they gave her the win?
I think they're saying that's like the honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I heard one of them, and I honestly cannot remember which person it was that said in their speeches at the end of the night, one of them said, like when they were all interviewed in the backyard after it was all done, somebody said that Marissa took I did what I had to do to get to the finale, and sometimes that meant riding Ross's coattails. And that Ross said, me. Like, I won this many, I did this, I did that.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. It's Big Brother.
I agree.
This is why I didn't like the celebrity of this show.
Well, this is where it comes in with the voting. Okay. Keisha says, I'm going to vote for the way that I said the very first day, because she said in her interview, I voted for Marissa because she was a female and we said we wanted a girl to win. Okay. I don't care. I am a female, and I think, yeah, that's awesome if a female won because she deserved to win. But don't just vote for a female because she's up there. Like, the sex, race, nationality, nothing. None of that has anything to do with how you play the game. So that pisses me off. Meta stuck his hand in there and said, I'm just going to pick one. That pissed me off. Shannon holding such a grudge and basically not wanting to vote for either one of them pissed me off. The jury sitting there talking during the voting.
Yes.
Like plotting out who was going to vote for who. That pissed me off. And then there was one more. What was it? Okay. So James says that the speeches changed his vote. And he voted for Marissa because he said in the interview afterwards that Ross stated his wins of HOHs. And James said he gave one of those to him and that Ross didn't acknowledge that.
Stop it. This is the problem I had with Celebrity Big Brother.
Absolutely.
Is all of them are such egomaniacs.
Yes.
That they don't take gameplay into it. Like, you would not get this with a regular Big Brother. They all, whether you like them or not, they say, you played the game better. And nobody wants a floater to win.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants a floater to win unless the person who's on the block is just so despised. And even then, sometimes you hold your nose and vote for them.
I was about to say, sometimes they still vote because they're like, well, you're there and I'm not.
And every single one of them got up there and say, I'm going to vote for the person who played the game without lying the most. That is not the game.
It's not how it works.
That's not. Ross played the game the way you're supposed to be played. And he won vetoes when he was needed to win vetoes.
And
he won HOHs when he needed to win HOH.
Yep.
And he even told Marissa at the end, do what's best for you.
Absolutely.
He was trying to give her an out into not taking him.
It's not like he would have been mad. I mean, it was Ross, like, it's not like he would have been out there and been like, thanks a lot, Marissa. Like,
they all voted such with their just like, I'm mad that you did this to me, that it was an unfair vote.
Agreed.
Marissa, she comes across as a fantastic person, very genuine, very loyal. But I'm sorry. Yes, she won the HOH when she needed to. Yeah. She won the most important competition of the season.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, you did not play the game well.
No.
You asked Ross every week what to do.
Mm-hmm. And then whenever somebody else called you out on something, you almost were like, I didn't. Whereas a lot of times in a regular season, those people go, all right, cool. Is that what you think? Great. And then they go play the game. They go and like swap the narrative a lot of times. And she's trying to make friends.
And Ross was in 2 or 3 alliances and was never caught.
Yeah.
Ever.
He played a great game.
He did.
And I think people were rear end hurt. And they voted for Marissa out of spite almost to Ross a little bit.
I would have liked to see...
Ross outplayed them.
Oh,
so
yes.
Therefore, we're going to vote for Marissa because we like her better at this moment.
It wasn't fair. It wasn't a fair vote.
I agree.
And Ross, I was so upset when you saw that he had 2 numbers on the sides. And had he turned over the 900, he would have won. And I do wonder who he would have taken.
I know.
I think he would have taken Marissa.
I don't.
You think he would have taken Adriana or Mark?
Mark. I think he would have taken Mark. I think he would have. I mean, obviously we'll never know.
Win?
But Yeah, because I think he knows that Marissa, at least if he took her, I think he knew that, one, their friendship would be fine.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of people they are. Two, I think he felt like, if I'm going to win this, I've got to win this. Yeah. And he would have won against Mark. You know?
Yeah.
The whole James Maslow thing about voting because he was claiming an HOH that James actually gave him. You know, nobody puts your face next to an HOH based on who it should have gone to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, James chose to give Ross an HOH.
Just like he chose to give Mark one.
He
only chose to give Mark that win so that he could play the next one.
Yeah, it wasn't
like, oh, I'm a great guy.
Yeah. No, he had strategy to it. And you know what? Like, you gave up that right to claim that HOH. You gave that up. So sorry for you. Like, you did not.
Ross didn't ask you to throw it to him.
Nope. Mark didn't. Mark said, hit the button.
Yeah.
You know, and James was like, no, man, come on.
And only because he didn't want to win, he wanted to play the next week.
Right. You know,
I would, personally, I think it's time for Julie Chen to hang up her hosting gig. I would love to see Ross host the show.
Absolutely.
It would be more entertaining.
It will never
She's just not entertaining.
She says the same thing every time.
And she's kind of mean.
Yeah.
Not mean, but she's just she's so dry.
She is.
She's
chin bot.
Right. Let's just okay. And I feel like, I mean, in all honesty, if her husband was head of CBS, would she continue to be the host of that show? Because she is not entertaining at all.
Yeah.
Her interviews go nowhere.
Yeah. I would love more dirt sometimes on the interviews. Yeah. I mean, I watched it because I'm a Big Brother fan. I watched it because I want to see how they did this season. Like, how are they going to pull this off? You know, will I watch another one if they do it? Absolutely. Just because of the game. Like, but I will be waiting to see how things maybe are altered if they do a second season, because I think they learned a lot from this season. Especially when it came to, I think Julie was getting ticked off with them talking there while they were voting and the whole not taking voting seriously.
Because I think she thought James should have won.
Oh,
not James, but Ross should have won.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
But I was glad that Ross won America's Favorite Player.
Yes.
So he
walked home with some money.
Oh, he walked home with $75,000.
Which is the other thing I'm glad about. I mean, not that I hate when they play for charities, but I'm glad that actual money was on the line for them.
Yes.
Because even though people didn't play like it was. But
you know, because these are not Jennifer Aniston getting Friends royalties.
They're not like super duper millionaires.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like they don't need money put aside for kids' college or whatever it might be, right? So
now, it's a side note. I was okay with Marissa winning. I just don't think she deserved it. But, you know, she has had a rough go at it recently, and she does have a young child.
Sure.
So
great. And
I'm sure she'll take Ross out to dinner or whatever.
And they're going to be friends, and it's all good. Ross is going to like everybody there. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I was just a little like,
I'm ticked off that the game was played, but in the end, people who were upset that they didn't play the game as well voted the way they did.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that ticked me off about Celebrity Big Brother, is that I think that whole voting at the end needs to be changed. I did like how they did the final four, and then the person who wins that gets to choose who they sit next to out of the three people, instead of doing like 3 days of competitions to decide who the final two are going to be. I liked that change.
I did too.
I don't think they'll do it in the regular Big Brother, but I do think
cool.
that last one. And I've always been a fan of, you know who the final two are at least a day or two ahead of the finale.
Yeah.
And there only being 8 jurors.
Yes.
And then America gets a vote.
Yes.
Because we get to watch everything.
That's right.
I mean, I think there's something. That's why I think it should only be 1 vote.
Well, and see, the celebrities got to watch everything.
And that's never happened before.
Get juries
and that's why they were upset.
Yep.
I think had they been sequestered like normal Big Brothers, they would have just... They would have voted. Talked. They would have voted the way. And you can't tell me they didn't talk when they were at home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the other thing that I think needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you sign up for 3 weeks, you're sequestered for 3 weeks.
That's it. Yeah. It's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks. It's not 3 months like the real people.
Man up. Yeah. So it was interesting. I'll be anxious to see where they go from here with it, if they continue or whatever it may be. But in other Big Brother news, did you hear that Cody and Jess won Amazing Race?
I saw it.
And they're engaged.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you watch any of The Amazing Race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love The Amazing Race.
I do too. I'm a new fan of The Amazing Race. I've watched a couple seasons here and there. I've told you, I think, before that when I was in South Carolina, The Amazing Race came through my office and I was a part of it. So that was awesome. But really, I haven't watched every single season. I don't know for one reason or another, but I watched every episode of this one and loved it. And I was actually very impressed with the two of them.
Yeah.
As much as I was kind of...
More so Cody.
Yes. But in the same respect, and of course shows are edited. I get that. But there was never a breakdown of fight, really. You know, I mean, we saw fights on other teams of like, you know, you need to do this and I need to do this. Like, they didn't do that. They were very supportive of each other. Cody's a beast. I mean, Cody just does not care.
Yeah.
He just plows through challenges. But I never saw her give up. Never saw her, like, break down on anything.
Yeah.
And I expected her to be a little more prissy. And she wasn't. Like, she was dirty and she was gross and she wore the same clothes over and over again. And there you go.
Yeah. I liked Cody a little bit more coming out of this than I did coming out of Big Brother.
I did too. Yeah.
He was in his element more, I think, here.
Totally. You know, he originally signed on to be on Survivor.
I think he should still do it.
I think he should. I think he would kill it on Survivor, actually, because he doesn't care who he's friends with. You know, I'll stab you in the back. He doesn't need to be friends. He doesn't need it. So he was tried out for Big Brother, and while he was at Big Brother casting, they said, Survivor. Tried out for Survivor. While he was at Survivor casting, he got sent away. They were like, thank you very much for your time. As he's leaving, they were like, they came and grabbed him and said, we want you to come over to Big Brother. And they brought him to Big Brother casting then. And so then he had to go through the process, of course. But yeah, so he was brought over for that. So I think there still could be a time where he would show up on Survivor at some point.
Other people in Big Brother have done it.
Jess was like, hell no. Somebody asked Jess if she would do Survivor, and she was like,
Oh, I wouldn't do Survivor.
No.
I'm all for The Amazing Race because I get to go to a hotel every night and wash up.
True. Except it is exhausting, though. I mean, it looks ridiculous.
I don't think I would make it on Survivor. I feel like
I have no desire.
I'd be one of those people going, I just want to go home. Where's the tap out button?
Yeah, I have no desire to go on Survivor.
I never have.
Yeah. But I did want to just put that out there because I was very impressed by them.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with them the other day where they were giving their thoughts on Celebrity Big Brother and Amazing Race, of course, you know. And that's where I heard that about him trying out for Survivor. But they are obviously engaged, getting married in the fall of this year.
Oh, okay.
They're buying a house in Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're buying a house
Who's
together.
from Dallas?
Cody's from Texas.
Okay.
But he, I don't know if he lives necessarily in Dallas previously, but
they're settling in Texas. Okay.
They're selling in, they're doing that. And they talked, and it was really funny to hear because they were like, ooh, are y'all buying something cool with $1 million? What are y'all doing from Amazing Race? And they were like, well, we're buying a house. That's kind of our first and foremost. Get a house together out there. You get more bang for your buck. So we don't need something big because we travel a lot, but we want to save this for our kids' college. We want to have children soon, all this stuff. I mean, they were very, like, they weren't as,
I feel like that was all Cody.
Well, that was a lot of Cody, but Jessica, like, wants children right away. She loves Dallas. She's like, I just want to go and kind of start a family and start a life and whatever. And Cody talked about how, important it is that, like, they cook meals together and they have, his daughter over and, I guess his daughter's in Texas and stuff too.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so he talked about that and, like, how important that was. And Jess talked about how important his daughter was to her. And it was just a really good thing. I think that's,
Are they the new Jordan and...
Maybe.
Jeff?
Maybe.
No one can replace Jordan and Jeff.
Nobody can be Jordan and Jeff, but I think they might be a
close second.
A nastier version of Jordan and Jeff.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think just out of the house now, people will see like, okay, we're a little different than we totally were there.
Yeah.
So Big Brother, kind of weird perception of them, but Amazing Race, I think, left people with a better taste in their mouth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congrats to them.
Yes.
Team Jody.
Jeez.
Yeah, whatever. So, last but not least, rumor is the Spice Girls have been invited to the royal wedding.
Why? Spice up your life.
I don't know, but Mel B has confirmed that she is attending Meghan and Harry's wedding.
Are they friends with somebody? Harry?
Maybe. Don't know.
I mean, I know Victoria Beckham is a friend of Meghan's, maybe. They were talking
Really?
about, I mean, I've seen their names together in articles about like wedding dresses and stuff.
She was asked if she was going to be going to the wedding, and Mel B was like, I am. And they were like, oh my gosh. And then they said, wait, are the Spice Girls performing? And Mel's like, oh my gosh, like I've got to leave. I can't even answer all this stuff. And they were like, oh, they are. Like she alluded to, like, I can't tell secrets, that type of thing.
Someone asked the Spice Girls to perform.
I know. So funny quick story on this. This is, okay, so my daughters enjoy watching Fuller House, on Netflix. And the girl band, Girl Talk, sings I Saw the Sign by Ace of Base, right? Okay, so they also do the girls then started wanting to hear Ace of Base. So they've been listening to Ace of Base in our house, which is weird. Next, there was another episode where they did like MC Hammer. So now my youngest one loves Too Legit and Can't Touch This, right? And then they did another episode where it was Tell Me What You Want, What You Really, Really Want, right? So I start telling my kids about the Spice Girls. Played them some of their music. And then I blow my daughter's mind by saying that Mel B was one of them. Because she knows Mel B from just being on America's Got Talent and stuff. And of course my kids watch like those videos on YouTube, of the talent people and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, she knows who Mel B is. So the other day, the song comes out. They put it on their station on Spotify that I have just for the kids. They asked for Spice Girls to be on there. Spice Girls song came on, and I said, hey, pop quiz girls, can you name any of the Spice Girls? And Charlotte, my daughter, was like, well, Mel B. And I'm like, yes, she is. I said, but do you know their Spice Girl name? I said, they all have spice names. And she was like, cinnamon, sugar. And I lost it. I was like, why have I never thought about, like...
They're not really spices.
They're not spices. So,
no, honey, it's posh. It's scary.
I was like, sporty spice. And she's like,
what do you put that in?
She's like, what do you mean?
What do you make with sporty spice?
She said, which one was Mel B? And I said, she's scary spice. And she's like, why? She's like, why is Mel B scary? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand. So now my whole life has been a big blur, a confusion up to this point. I'm really not sure what comes next in my life if I don't know that the Spice Girls don't actually have spice names.
Spices. We should make a recipe. You put a little bit of sporty in there.
I know, right? So
have
it was
a little
really
baby.
bizarre. I'm sure
ginger.
Out there.
Ginger?
Yeah.
It's not a spice.
It's a spice, but
it goes in food at least.
Yeah. But, I'm sure somebody else has thought about that out there, and I get that. But this is just now coming to the forefront for me. Is like, no, really. Why were their names this? I don't get it. Like, what's the
spicy?
I get it. Yeah. So, anyway, my daughter picks up on it first thing.
Of course.
So now we're going to see if they show up at the wedding. And the sad part is, if they were to perform at the reception, even as like a joke, like, let's all do karaoke or something, right? If they were to get up there, the sad thing is we're never going to see it.
Somebody film it.
Right?
Somebody has to film it. I'm sure there's no film.
There's going to be no cameras, no phones, no nothing in there. And it's going to be
They cannot perform because
party.
Elton John, I'm sure, will be at that wedding.
Will he?
Why not?
Isn't he kind of like banned by the Queen now?
Why?
Didn't
he sing
at Diana's?
Well, he had, or maybe William and Kate just danced to his song.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Their song is our song.
Oh,
or your song.
A little
your
bit
song.
Funny.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Your song?
Your song? Our song? Someone's song. It's a song.
So I decided.
You can tell, this is your song? This is your song.
Is it?
Anyway, they danced to that. And he's been kind of coy on whether or not he's invited.
They all have. And I think Mel B was trying to be coy, and she was on The View.
Someone asked me, and I'll be like,
I know.
maybe. We'll wait and see.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's going to be a buzz now from here on out. I mean, there's like a month left, right? Like,
Because she's a celebrity.
Yeah.
And an American celebrity.
and
married a prince.
honestly, Harry grew up in that time where it was cool to be, like, he was showing up at celebrity parties in America and in Canada.
Yeah.
Before he was just the prince. I mean, you know
So
what
you're
I'm
going to
saying?
see, Priyanka, the girl from...
from from the FBI thing.
yeah. Is that still on? No.
I don't remember what that called. What's that called? But yes,
And then Serena
Priyanka
Williams.
Chopra.
Yeah. Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Mel
B.
B and Posh.
Yeah.
Victoria Beckham, which I'm fine with.
I get
Victoria
Beckham
Beckham
being there. I
and-
get that, right?
David Beckham. That's all I want to see. Just show up
Fine
in your
with that, too.
show up in your morning suit, and I'll be happy.
And Eugenides.
Eugenides will be there.
Yeah, and her boyfriend, because she's going to be like, why do we have to
Beatrice.
wait? Beatrix.
And there's speculation as to whether or not Fergie will be allowed, because she certainly is banned, or not like.
Yeah, she's not let on ground. Well, time will tell now. I mean, it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Which I found out about her that she and Andrew still live together
Fergie?
and are kind of a couple.
No, they're not. Isn't he remarried?
No.
What? No. They're still together.
We'll get to see the royals that we all forgot about, like Edward and
Yes.
Sophie.
The
Forgotten royals.
forgotten cousins.
Oh, yeah, you've got other brothers and sisters.
Isn't there one like Zelda or something?
I don't
What's her
know.
name? Yeah, like
Auntie Anne will be there.
they're all. It's like the cousins that once were.
Oh, that's right. You guys
Yeah.
are related.
What's her name that starts with a Z?
Zoe. I don't know.
No.
I'm just making it up.
It's
Zora? No.
It's
Talking about the one that's married to the rugby player?
I think so.
Auntie Anne's daughter?
Royal. Let's see. How should I search this? Royal
British royal cousins.
cousin Zara.
Zara.
Yes, that's all you had to type in. Isn't that funny? Zara Tyndall, married to Mike Tyndall, right?
Sure.
Is that what his name was?
And will
She was a Phillips.
Will
Zara Phillips.
Pippa make the guest list?
Pippa will be there, of course,
Okay.
with her husband now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will Chelsea and Cressida
No.
be invited? Why
No.
not? I heard they're still friends.
Because Megan's going to put a stop to that.
Well, Eugenides is inviting them.
Eugenides is not. Oh, she can take it to her wedding, but not to his wedding.
I heard they're still pretty close. And that Megan encourages the friendships.
You know what's funny? So when I got married, I had a friend bring a +1. That was the new girlfriend of my ex-boyfriend, and as her +1 to my wedding.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's 15 years later. I'm still trying to figure that out. But just, I didn't invite her, but she came as somebody's +1. Isn't that weird?
Well, Eugenides won't do that. Because everyone has
don't
to get cleared through the
True.
royal thing. You can't just
True.
pop up as a +1.
I think Megan's going to put a stop to that
You
stuff.
think?
You just,
Or
Megan's
will
cool.
she? Or will she be like, look at me, ladies?
I think Megan's got a little street in her.
You think? That's why she'd invite them. Look at what he got.
Yeah, true.
Y'all sit back and look at I got the prize.
True.
No touching. You stay at distance. You sit in the back. How about you sit in the back together?
Gotcha.
And I'll see you in October at Eugenides' wedding
True.
with my wedding band.
And my husband.
And maybe pregnant.
Well, I'll totally be pregnant.
Totally be pregnant on purpose.
Eugenie, totally pregnant. No, Eugenie's wedding, Meghan Markle pregnant.
We're calling it now.
We're making that statement now. Absolutely. You know what? I'm not totally convinced that Meghan's not pregnant right now.
There will be. See, we won't make the announcement until after the Eugenides' wedding.
Yeah.
Well, speculation will be, why is she covering up?
True.
Because,
Look, she's wearing a flowy dress.
she's wearing a flowy dress. Why?
Look at on pier waist. Okay. All right. So that is all I have today. I mean, that's a lot of
That's
stuff.
a lot of stuff.
That was a lot of stuff. We went from Pretty in Pink to the Markle wedding. I mean, this is
The countdown is
It's a
on.
hot time right now. Hot time. Thanks for being here with me, Janette.
It's always fun.
All right, guys, this has been ChickChat on the Mesh. Don't forget to send us your thoughts, feedback, information, love notes, whatever you want to send to us. You can do that through an email at info@themesh.tv. You can find more shows on the Mesh hosted by, some of them by me, some of them by our lovely cohorts here. Find all of that at themesh.tv, their website. We do have a voicemail line, 828-619-0048, if you want to leave some love, and you can find us on social media. So, until next time, say goodbye, Janette.
Goodbye, Janette.
Goodbye. Catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.